Ahoy, it's Alicia from Time to Travel on board Virgin Voyages Scarlet Lady, where we will be calling home for the next 35 nights. Let me show you through on what we've done with our cabin, a regular Sea Terrace 13034 Alpha. So it's on the port side and it is almost at the aft elevators. So first of all, let's have a look at what I've done with the hanging space. I've actually bought some extra hanging shelves because there isn't a whole lot of room. I'll show you that in a moment. The shoes just underneath there. We did ask for extra hangers. As you can probably see, I haven't finished filling out all the hangers yet, but I do have some more clothes to go in there. And then I've mentioned these before. I love these baskets. We've filled this with vitamins, protein powders, medication, and then just down in here, like some extra toiletry supplies, like face wipes, deodorants. And then if you want to make all of that disappear, you can just cover it over. The great part about this as well is it's covering the do not disturb light and the please make up my room, which often will be quite bright at night time in the cabin if you don't cover them. And then let's have a look at the cupboard space. So as I said, there's not a whole lot of cupboard space. The life jackets are up here. I wasn't able to even fit them up the top. Here, still to unpack some things. The safe, a little bit of storage there. Some like thin drawers, top two. And then the bottom two are a little deeper. And then underneath, I'm actually just using for laundry. And then there is a full-length mirror here as well, which is super handy when you're getting ready. I notice here on the safe, they've also put, this is like a soft foam plug. I'm imagining that it has smashed a couple of windows in its mirrors in its time, so that is why it's there. As we come further back out into the cabin, we've added some hooks for hats, handbags. These are automatically there in your cabin, but these are the extras. We're also using the top of the paintings for some storage, and we bought these on. These are magnetic shelves. I've already done a couple of loads of washing because we do get one each for each sailing. So I did ask for some extra washing papers so that we can put those out every week. And then over here, I've just got a shoe caddy, which I've needed 4 magnetic hooks to hold up. It doesn't hold a lot of weight, but the 4 hooks is doing the job for the time being. It just doesn't quite fit over the back of the doors. Like the hooks that are on it, they don't work. Plus, there's not a lot of hallway space as you walk through, so I don't really want things bulky hanging out. This is really out of the way. So things like sunglasses, I've got contact lenses here, protein shakers, sunscreen, a little bit of bling, glasses. In there is some jewelry, some slippers down below, cords up here. So it's just a handy place to put everything away. And then you've got the seat in front so you don't knock it. There is also the mirror here. And here's another lot of shelves. So this is really handy because down here is a charging point. So you can charge all your devices either in the caddy or sitting up here in the shelf. So that's why we've put that there. Also, something that is different since the last 8 sailings I've done on Virgin Voyages, they have a heat-proof mat for straighteners. I imagine that a few straighteners have melted the benches, which is why they're doing that. Also bought a little fan just for some airflow in the room as well. Then, more storage. There is this huge drawer that is super handy. It goes all the way in, but just everyday bits and pieces we've got in here, the laptops, electronics, anything that's handy for bed, we put in here. And then underneath the bed, there's actually another one of these, so we've put the other life jacket in there. We've also put the cushions because we just don't use the cabin cushions. And then as well, there's 2 suitcases under there, 1 rollerboard, 2 duffels that we're hoping not to have to use again. Hopefully we whittle down our supplies over the next 5 months. to just a suitcase each. I bought my own pillowcase because I like my own pillowcase. And obviously you've got the TV there. Let's take a look outside as well. Now Scarlet Lady is the oldest ship in the Virgin Voyages fleet, and she has just come out of dry dock, but she's still showing her age in a few places. So let me show you one. I've bought a small clothesline, just things dry much faster out here, and I clip them on because you don't want your clothes to fall overboard. So it's just a little faster than using the clothesline in your shower. But if you take a look, here's the hammock. This one is looking quite sun faded there. Like the bottom part is obviously doing okay, but the top is seeing the effects of the sun. So, you know, just some things looking a little old. As we come back in, let me show you what we've done with the bathroom. We've bought also our own water bottles and our own thermal cups for coffee. And then in the bathroom, let's take a look. So we've utilized the space behind the sink because there's nothing much going on behind the sink. And then just up the top there, because the walls in here aren't magnetic, so I wasn't able to attach any magnetic shelves. And then there's a little hole in there to put bits and pieces and a shelf underneath. I think we'll do something with the bathroom, just not too sure yet, but things are working okay. And then obviously you have the shower. There's the clothesline I mentioned up here. It just doesn't get airflow, so things don't really get dry that quickly. And then here is the toiletries, small little shelf there, and the handheld as well as the rain head. One thing I have noticed that is different on Scarlet than when I was last on Resilient is they're using a hand soap instead of bars of soap. I'm not sure if you've sailed before or you've seen it, but they were using these black bars of soap. They are now no longer. One last thing to show you is the fridge, which we're not really going to use that much, but it is in here. They generally aren't that cold, but there's nothing in there right now. And then also a little bit of space here to put some bits and pieces. I've hidden the squishy and also the tray that was sitting over next to the bed. The one thing that I did notice, and considering Scarlet has just come out of dry dock recently, is the carpet stains. I'm not sure if you can see them all that well, but it's pretty dirty, the carpet. I did actually get a questionnaire on the Virgin Voyages app. They generally send you one every night, and they did ask about the cabin cleanliness, and my room stewards are absolutely amazing. But I did mention the dirty carpet, and lo and behold, they came and knocked on my door this morning and said, hey, we're gradually replacing the carpets. Can we do yours tomorrow? So yesterday they did next door's carpet, and then tomorrow when we are off on excursion, they're going to replace our carpet. They said it's a 3-hour process. So they're considering it a wet dock and doing the carpets, which is kind of interesting. So we don't have to lift a finger. They will do everything, and we'll come back to brand new carpets. So we will show you what that looks like. So while we were out, our carpet was changed in our cabin. So we're going to take a look and see if it's the same color, see what's going on. It's completely different. Well, that is certainly going to hide some stains. And it smells a little carpety though. Okay. So I hope that this has given you some inspiration for when you are sailing on board Virgin Voyages. Maybe you are sailing for 5 days, or maybe you're sailing for 5 weeks like us. Thanks so much for watching our cabin tour, our Sea Terrace on board Scarlet Lady, and happy cruising.